Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Des Naomi.
Yo, it's Derek.
And today we're going to be talking about Death Note.
Yes.
So, have you ever seen the anime before?
No, I have not. I had heard of it, but I had never seen it before.
Never watched it? I've seen a couple of episodes, but I never finished it. But just right off the start, I can tell there are many differences between this and the anime. So, do you want to give your famous plot summaries?
So I think, I'll give a quick plot summary, and then you should kind of go over real quick with some of those differences you were just talking about. So, basic plot is you have this high school kid, kind of a weirdo, finds a magic notebook falls out of the sky, you write people's names in it, they die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while this all is happening, he's being kind of hunted by this famous detective called L, who's like a super genius.
Yes.
So, some of the differences between this and the anime mainly was in Light's character. Well, first off, let me say, the whole anime is set in Japan and stars Japanese characters.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why film studios feel the need to do this, but every time they adapt an anime, they make it set in America or cast Americans to play the characters. Which, like...
I mean, it's probably easier just to do that. Like, if you're going to film it over here and have Americans being in the cast, it's easier than trying to, like, I don't understand.
It's lazy. Light's character, obviously, isn't Japanese in this adaptation. Also, his character is very different in personality. So, in the anime and in the manga, he's this very self-assured, super smart, I want to say kind of a genius, and he's so full of his own intelligence that he's just a dick to everyone. So, he's smart and he knows it, and he really doesn't need any help. And this guy comes off really as just a nerd. He's a nerd. He wants attention from the girl. He's getting picked on by bullies. He's just not anywhere close to the original character. So I was kind of surprised by that, especially because the whole anime is supposed to be this back and forth between Light and L, and it's just a mind game with the Death Note being the way that they play the game. Mm-hmm. And this really didn't seem like that. Those personality differences definitely changed the way the movie plays out.
Yeah, so I've never seen the anime, so I don't know about exactly how it was supposed to be. The characters in the movie were terrible. All of them were dreadful. I hated all of them except for Ryuk. Is it Ryuk?
Oh, the monster, yeah.
Ryuk is the demon that basically is behind this notebook that kills people. He was great. I love Willem Dafoe, and he's the one who did the voice. So he did a great job. He was I thought he was really likable. He was really interesting. If the whole movie just focused on like Ryuk and like what he was doing, I would have loved it. The problem is Light was absolutely terrible. He wasn't funny. He tried to be funny. They try to go for some of how in anime they have some like over the top moments. They try to bring some of that over the topness into the live action movie. Just like he would try to be overly funny in situations that didn't call for it, or his like reactions were supposed to be, and it didn't work at all. I feel like when they make these live action anime movies, they just need to take the concept and throw out everything else about it being anime and do their own thing with just the bare bones concept of it. Because trying to bring anime over just doesn't work. So that was awful.
I mean, that is interesting because Light's character isn't over the top at all. He's very stoic.
But so
the fact that they added that in,
it didn't work. He was awful. His girl Mia, she was absolutely terrible. Her motivations made no sense. She was like with the popular dudes at first, then she ends up with a nerdy dude, and then I don't know what her problem was because at some point she starts trying to take over everything. Don't know what her deal was. L was terrible. He was just a freaking weirdo. He just seemed like he had some type of he had the maturity of like a 6-year-old. He's supposed to be he was, sorry, I can't curse. He was effing weird. I did not like him at all. Honestly, I wished all the characters just died. Ryuk just went on a killing spree and did what the hell he wanted because they were awful. The dad was annoying. Basically every character in this movie is absolutely terrible except for Ryuk. They're all unlikable. The only good thing is there's lots of violence that happens to these people, so when you hate the characters, you get to see them suffer. That part was enjoyable. Other than Ryuk, there's no reason to watch this movie really.
Well, I disagree with that. I thought L was very enjoyable to watch. If you've seen the anime, he's very close to his character. He's just, like you said, weird, but it's supposed to be likable. Like, he's childlike because he's forced to be a detective from such a young age. I don't know if that's how it happens in the anime. He
came off as like a crybaby. Like, he's throwing little temper tantrums and crap. Like, he just seemed like a kind of a...
Derek.
I can't say What other word should I
Can
say?
you not?
I'm trying to think of what other word he's describing. I just don't like
I
it.
think they get the point.
Overall,
Oh,
like.
sorry.
Oh, you can go. You finish what you're saying.
I'm gonna say, anytime they try and shoehorn a love story into a show or movie that doesn't have one, it fails.
Yeah.
Like, why? This movie did not need the whole thing between Mia and Light. It was distracting. She was annoying. They were annoying together, and I did not believe 1 second of it.
There's basically every movie is gonna have some version of a love story, whether it's like the more obvious like this, or like basically, I mean, literally any movie. Like I feel like the more creative the love story gets, the better the movie is. A quick example would be something like Step Brothers, where the real love story is between the Step Brothers and their relationship, and as they grow through it.
Must you bring up Step Brothers?
It's one of the greatest movies of all time. I honestly think if they would have focused on the relationship between Light and Riek as like the love story, quote unquote, and like their relationship through it, and then like the fact that like maybe he could have started to trust the demon because he had no friends, and like I feel like that relationship could have been something super interesting to focus on, and that could have been the love, quote unquote, story of it, like the friendship of it. Your friend, because not all love is romantic. He could have had a different relationship with that demon. But yeah, the relationship he had with me was just not compelling at all. She tried to kill his dad at one point, and like it doesn't even like faze him because he just kind of is bad. Yeah, it just doesn't. And it doesn't make any sense why she kind of comes onto him in the first place.
Well, it was literally just he showed her he could kill people, and she was like, "Oh, want to make out?"
That's like literally.
That's literally what happened.
So that was awful.
It was really bad.
So yeah, the characters are bad. Let's go a little bit into the overall, like how the actions pace, some of the writing aspects. So plot wise, I thought some of the plot points were clever. How they went through and like certain events would happen, you'd be like, that doesn't make sense, and then they'd go back and be like, oh, they wrote it in this notebook, and then it all had actually been planned out, or like who had written this, or like there's parts where you don't know if Mia had written it, or if Ryuk was doing it on his own, or if he wrote it. That part got a little bit interesting, and in all honesty, they were sort of onto something there. Like they had some moments there where I was actually kind of like intrigued.
And that's once again a point where they should have stuck closer to the anime, because the whole anime is just a mind game between L and Light, between him trying to figure out what's happening with the Death Note, him trying to use the Death Note to circumvent that, and the parts in the movie that actually worked for that were very interesting. The parts that played out like they were just doing chase scenes and they were fighting each other, that was so uninteresting and unnecessary for the movie.
Yeah, it just was not. It wasn't very good.
I feel like after watching this movie, I really just want to go back and watch the anime, because I feel like I missed out on that whole, when that was a fad, watching Death Note, I really missed out, and I feel like that would have been really interesting.
Yeah, because the concept's really cool, and I know you had mentioned this as a negative. I do really like how they took it and just made like an American version of it. It's like the bare bones concept, and it's adapting it to like be like more relatable. It's released on Netflix. It's kind of released to an American audience.
But saying that there are Japanese Americans, so saying you need to cast
but like there's some
certain
Japanese
people
Americans
to make it relatable. You don't need to do that.
There's some Japanese Americans. There's a lot more that aren't.
I know, but you can relate to people of any race.
That part doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with how good or how bad the movie is. Or how bad the movie is. I should emphasize. So, but yeah, no, you can say what you want. I did kind of like how they like took it, because the anime is there, and they took it and made like the American version of it to make it more relatable to an American audience. They failed at it, but the concept of it was kind of cool. I like the idea of just taking stories and adapting them to different like scenarios and stuff like that. Because although it failed, the concept of taking different like stories and completely changing them with just the bare bones like structure is like the very hard plot points is the thing that remains, is kind of a cool concept. I feel like it can allow for creativity and allow for new things to be thrown in. They just didn't take advantage of any of it. So yeah, unfortunately. So let's go to our scales.
Well, recommend or don't recommend?
Yeah, this is just don't watch.
Wow, really? Don't watch?
I would not recommend for anybody to watch it. Yeah, like literally, unless you are the most hardcore Willem Dafoe fan and you really want to see his like voice act, because I thought he killed it. I thought he did a really good job as Ryuk. Like the voice acting he was killing it. He was convincing. Like he seemed very demonic and creepy. I guess it's just Willem Dafoe's voice all the time, but like he did a really good job. I loved him in it, but that's the only reason to see this movie.
Well, I disagree with that. I think this is a watch for free. I thought Lakeith Stanfield as Elle was pretty enjoyable to watch. Willem Dafoe was enjoyable. And all the parts of the story that were actually the mind games with the Death Note was interesting. So, watch for free. Better yet, just watch Death Note, the anime.
I was
feel like
just
you'd be better off.
I was just about to say, if any of this intrigues you, just probably go. I haven't
Watch
seen
the
it,
anime.
but I'm assuming it's much better because it just wasn't. It wasn't good. To be fair, this might be one of the better live action adaptations of an anime.
Well, yeah, literally all of them have sucked, unless you count Matrix, which stole a lot from Ghost in the Shell. So that's really the only one that's good, but I don't even think that counts. So they all suck.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's something about, and I had mentioned this before, trying to adapt. Anime is such a very unique art form, the way it's presented as a form of entertainment, where so much of it is just based on being completely over the top and ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Like the facial expressions and stuff like that.
And that's so much of what makes it enjoyable. I mean, I haven't seen many anime. You're much more of the anime expert, but from what I gather, the stories in some of them don't seem that interesting on the surface, but the characters and stuff become interesting because of so much of this over-the-topness and ridiculousness. It lets you get engrossed into a story that...
Depends on the story.
Yeah, they vary. But it lets you get engrossed in stories in these, like, over-the-top worlds that, like, basically take you out of reality in a cool way.
I think they haven't given the budget or the talent to have one of these done correctly.
Well, the budget in this seemed like it might be up there.
I said, or the talent.
You
need both. You need both.
They had Willem Dafoe, that was talent.
I've seen Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a perfect example of something that seems like it can't be adapted, which is like a comic book / video game.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of both.
That worked.
But it worked perfectly. Like you need the right talent to make something like that work.
For sure, you need to go. You have to really dedicate. You have to either go in one direction where you're hardcore, like that movie, where you're going hardcore, over the top, ridiculous, cartoony, and that's one way to do it. Or you can go super dark and make it super realistic. Trying to go for something in the middle just doesn't work. That's kind of where this movie was at, is in that middle zone. And it just, unfortunately, I don't think it worked for him.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. So we've gone over our scale. I said you probably shouldn't see it. She said watch for free. Does it fit anything on our personal scales?
Yeah. So if you guys are new to watching this, our personal scales are the 4 things that if someone tells you a movie has this in it, you will automatically watch it, no questions asked. Yeah. So my 4 are hot people, women, people of color, and queer people. And this has one woman, one person of color, I don't think any hot people, but... I
don't know, the demon can get it. Oh, yeah.
I don't know, Lakeith Stanfield was really good, so, yeah, it matches, like, one thing. The girl in this was awful, so I would not watch it because of her.
No, yeah, nothing on my scales. My scales, basically, as a review, somebody was in Lost or in Breaking Bad. Those are basically my 2 big things. And then I fill it in as I feel necessary. Something just pops out to me. So nothing on my scales at all. Yeah, so that's basically that. It was unfortunate.
Another meh movie from Netflix.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a theme.
Netflix, you're letting us down.
Step it up. Y'all are like, we were like $20 billion in debt or something crazy at one point.
Yeah, where's that money going?
Send that to good places.
It's going to Stranger Things. That's where it's going.
Yeah, all of it
here.
is going to Stranger Things, apparently. So yes, if you have any suggestions for other movies you'd like us to watch, literally anything, just let us know. We'll watch it for you, and you'll get to see our thoughts.
Yeah, and thank you to the people who have subscribed.
Yes.
We see you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much.
And we will catch you next Monday for another Movie Monday. Bye.